Thank you. Shocking stuff. Let's talk a little bit more about it with Democratic Congressman Joe Sestak of Pennsylvania. He's a retired U.S. Navy admiral, spent 3 decades in the Navy and wants a full investigation. Congressman, thanks very much for coming in.
Good to be here, Wolf. Thank you.
What do you make of this as someone who served in the Navy for so many years?
This is certainly absolutely a rogue unit, and I don't understand how it has happened. But I also agree with what Joe Roach has said. This Navy of ours is excellent. We have a wonderful Chief of Naval Operations, Gary Roughhead. I have no doubt that he will investigate this and find out what occurred in 2 regards. First, how could this leader of this unit ever be permitted to have done that and fix it with accountability for him? And second, how high up the chain of command did this go that once an investigation was done and they had found out that damage was being done to our sailors, that those up the chain of command did not enforce that type of accountability that the investigation, the original one, had recommended be done? I just don't understand how this occurred.
Because he's been apparently promoted working with the elite Navy SEALs right now, which sounds, you know, we haven't heard necessarily his side of the story, but based on what we heard from these eyewitnesses, pretty incredible.
When you read the investigation, it's outrageous and it's almost nauseating. Look, our leaders who are out there, chief petty officers, commissioned officers, are given the highest honor that our country can give to anyone, and that's to lead our men and women into harm's way. These individuals are responsible for those we entrust to them, but they're also accountable with that trust. And in this case, something broke down. It broke down both with that individual who damaged his people, one committing suicide, but it also broke down in that this systemic problem in this unit, once we found out about it, we just didn't fix it. It's a wonderful Navy. But again, I believe that this is an aberration. But if it's not handled correctly, it speaks volumes, because our public institutions serve our nation, and we can't lose that trust, as often we have in Congress, quite frankly.
Is it appropriate, you're on the Armed Services Committee, to hold hearings on this so that everyone learns from these incidents?
Yes, it is. This would probably be addressed by our Personnel Committee. I'm waiting to see what Admiral Roughhead, who, again, I want to emphasize, I have great trust, handles. An institution that takes care in a transparent, accountable way and makes the outcome of it transparent is the best way, I believe, to handle situations like this. Because, again, I don't believe this is systemic throughout the Navy. Matter of fact, I know it's not. This truly is an aberration, but we've had them before at Abu Ghraib and other places. And I also believe at Abu Ghraib, where we didn't see who up above that young woman we saw who had someone with a dog collar chained to an Iraqi. How high up the chain of command did this actually go? Look, we officers, commissioned officers, are ultimately the ones responsible. And that's why I want to know who actually up the chain knew about the accountability that wasn't taken.
Congressman, you heard the sailor say he kept his homosexuality secret while he served in the Navy under the don't ask, don't tell policy, but he believes that policy was partially responsible for this incident. Do you, as someone who served in the Navy for more than 30 years, who retired as an admiral, I believe a 3-star admiral, do you believe it's time to do away with don't ask, don't tell?
We should have done away with it years ago. I have a petition that's ongoing right now, gathered 1,000 signatures this weekend to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell. How could I, having gone to war, where public surveys let us know we did have gay members, come home and say they don't have equal rights? We are losing good men and women, and we're not adhering. We're absolutely not adhering to the ideals that of our nation, that everyone is treated and respected equally. And I think that was part of what led to this, although on the whole it's a lack of accountability. And I hope that this year, prior to December, that our president, having taken care of the cratering of our economy, having dealing with health care, takes care of something having to do with our ideals, and that's repeal. Don't ask, don't tell. And our service will be better for it.
You're not worried about good order and discipline? Because some of your former colleagues in the Navy, the Marine Corps, the Army, the Air Force, they're afraid of what they call good order and discipline if this is changed right now.
2 items. First, on an aircraft carrier, there's 5,000 sailors, and I command an aircraft carrier battle group in a war. The average age of those 5,000 sailors is 19 and a half, and frankly, they don't care. That's how they've become the younger generation. And second of all, if you have good order and discipline being enforced by a commander, then you won't have any problems. We learned that as we integrated our forces both with people of color and women. Good order and discipline is what is all needed by a good commanding officer, and people respect someone who actually respects others as equal, and that's what those are who have different orientation, sexual orientation. I strongly believe that.
Congressman Sestak, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Wolf.
President Obama is pledging